Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Diamond Styles. We are going to talk about Dwight Howard and me. We're just going to have a discussion about it. But before we get started, hmm, got I'm just coming back from break. I usually go live on Friday at 7. I think I'm going to have to start changing it to Thursday at 7 because Fridays are getting quite busy. Um, yes. Hey, Miss Polk. Hey, Android. Hey, Mr. 24/7 Star. Um, hey, Marissa. Alrighty. So I ain't been live in a minute. It's been about a month because I usually go on break in October. Hey, Diamond, just finished the interview with Aria. Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have some feedback. Is it on mic? Did that work? Can y'all hear me or no? All right, so let me get my announcements. Good news. Sounds like a vibrator. Yeah, I hear that too. I think I got a new computer, so I'm gonna set it up because this old one is from 2014, and honey, she sounded like honey. She might be ready to go because she was sounding weird. So I'm just lazy and haven't set up my new computer yet. Hey Jay. Hey Brandon. Um, I think I stopped it. All right. So since I've been gone, let me see. So y'all know that um, I did one of the most comprehensive databases for transgender homicides, and it was in partnership with Insiders Inc. And we did some amazing investigative journalism. We have won awards for it. We have we have they have opened up cases, and we have got indictments, and we just have it has done amazing behind the scenes work for us, for people who have been murdered, and we have gotten, it just has opened up like 4 different investigations. We got some indictments, just so many things that it has done. But we were up for a Script Howard Award, and we were finalists last month, and we actually won the award, which was $10,000. So make sure you go check that out. I'm so excited about that because that was work that was dear to my heart because I am a trans woman, and you know, and doing impactful work to dismantle some of the myths around our murders because a lot of people think that we are murdered because we deceive people. That's a narrative, a false narrative that people love to sell about us because we deceive people because we are prostitutes, because we're out in the streets in the black market and tricking people and da 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 da. But that is not true. Our numbers align with cisgender women when it comes to intimate partner violence and intimate partner homicide, and a lot of our data just confirms that. And so, yeah, make sure you check it out. I just sent a link to the video um, that we did for Script Howard, and yes, we won! Yay! So there's that. What else? So a couple of years ago, I did an event with the National African American Museum of the Museum of African American Culture and something. Y'all know the black version of the Smithsonian, or the It's the Smithsonian, but the Black History Museum. um, they did their very first, very, 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 very first um, documentary, and I am one of the principal people in it. And they launched, they premiered the documentary on the 23rd in October, and I went to DC, and let's go, okay. And here is that. Um, it is, well, wait, did I do right? I don't know if I did right. Maybe. There we go. So, um, yes, it is a documentary about that where they went around the world and interviewed people about religion, about their experience with the church or with spirituality, not the church, spirituality, and so African Americans, and they interviewed tons of people. It's like 167, 62, something, somewhere around there. But they focused on seven people, seven. And I'm one of them. Tre'vell Anderson is one. Um, I think we are. I think there's a lesbian that is one of the principals, or she might be bisexual. I don't know. But I think we're the few queer people that they featured. Not 100% for sure, because I didn't. We were talking about religion. We weren't talking about identity. So I didn't. I wasn't 100% for sure, but I know for sure me and Tre'vell are key folks. But we talked about religion, and y'all know I am a Orisha worshiper. I practice Ifa, and I am a child of Ogun, and that is the religious practice that I espouse to be, which is African traditional religion, um, rooted in Yoruba. So we talked about that, and we talked about our history. And so it just was a documentary where everybody was explaining either how they left the Black church or how they shifted, staying in the Black church, but shifted their practices to be more inclusive or to be less misogynistic. It's just an amazing documentary where we are all sharing our experience around spirituality. Hey Darcel, I love you. Um, so for me, it just was amazing to be a part of. So I went down to Washington D.C. and was a part of it. So yeah, if it comes in your area, make sure you go see it. It is called God Talk, and it is amazing. I love it. I didn't know that it was um, their first documentary, but I'm just so happy to be a part of it because we know that as far as African Americans, that is the archive, and y'all know I'm I feel there's leaving a legacy and leaving archival work that youngins, 50 years from now, 60 years from now, whenever, until climate change wears out, whoever is looking for queer trans stories, I want to make sure that I am there because as somebody who looks in these archives as a historian, it's really hard for me to find our stories. And so, yes, that is what we just came back this Thursday. California to love. I just posted the episode. Sorry it was late and not Thursday. Sorry it was today, Friday. But I've been really really busy, really really busy. So yes, make sure y'all check out God Talk documentary. I'm trying to make sure because I've been gone for a month, y'all. So I'm trying to make sure y'all know what's been going on. This is I did some voiceover work with Drink to Maniacs, which is hosted by Michael Harriet. and produced by Pharrell, and executive produced by Pharrell, and then actually produced by one of my good friends, Janicia Francis, and other people. But I know her because that's one of my bitches. Janicia has been on the channel. Um, we did I did the voice of, I was playing a professor and I was teaching them about Mary Ellen Pleasant, which is one of our first Black millionaires, and, you know, a capitalist that kind of does what they're supposed to do in regards to take their money and put it into social justice. And so I was playing a character, and it was featuring me, Teray. I remember Teray from MTV, Teray, um, and tons of other people. So make sure y'all check that episode out of that podcast. It was so much fun to do, and I thought it was dope. I've been on another episode of there, but this one I just played a bigger character. So I am sharing that. So make sure you check that out. It was so fun. And I didn't know Teray was going to be one of the characters, but I've been loving Teray, and I don't think he's queer, but I have always read Teray as queer. I'm not for sure if he's queer. I think he says he's not, but I'm not for sure. But when I was younger, I read Teray as queer, and I just was so happy that they were giving him opportunities, because he hadn't confirmed or denied at the time when I was younger that whether he was queer or not. So I was like, ooh, they're giving him opportunities. In my brain, I associated him with being queer, but I don't think he identifies with being queer. But in my younger years, I have an affinity for him because I just thought he was a queer dude out here doing his thing in the journalism media space, and I thought it was dope. So for me to be in a episode with him, um, be in a show with him, it was kind of a little nod to my younger self, like, oh yay! It was the universe saying, "See, we love you." But yeah, I don't think he's queer, but maybe, I don't know. I think he has. I think he has. I haven't heard him, but I think other people have told me that he has said he isn't. So yeah, but my little child brain was like, "Oh, I think he's queer." So while I was on the East Coast. Um, the reason why I was actually on the East Coast, and other than the DC premiere of God Talk, I was actually there also for the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival. So boom, 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 boom. If you are into podcasts, if you are into spaces that are Black as hell and celebrate Black people in audio, and yeah, go to Afros and Audio. This is their 5th year anniversary. Next year will be their 6th year, of course, and yeah, I love them. They are dope. They make me feel like a queen, because y'all know I'm out here as a podcast OG, because our podcast started in 2017 and was one of the first you know trans-led podcast, Black trans-led podcast that was out here, and we've been going strong. This is our 6-year anniversary. October was our 6-year anniversary. So yes, 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 yes. So if you are into like podcasts and festivals and stuff like that, make sure you come out next year. And they do have pre-ticket sales. So yes, Afros and Audio. Shout out to that. I'm almost done with my announcements. um, and then we can get into the talk about Dwight. So if you have been a listener for a while, you know that I've talked to y'all about my hometown, where I'm from, Indianapolis, and I have, I have a court case, the 25-year anniversary of my court case, me suing my school district to go to the prom in a gown. The 25 years is coming up, like in the spring 2024, and I'm so excited about that. We're trying to do something in regards to that. But this month in early October, the first week of October, an organization that I love in Indianapolis, which is Trans Solutions, the Research and Resource Center. They gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award because in my city, I'm in my hometown city, I'm that bitch. I'm a bad bitch. So they gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I was there to give a keynote, and I was able to kind of share my vast history, not just mine, but just the queer history that is you know embedded in Indianapolis, and only somebody, I don't want to say only, but I don't know anybody that does it, but only somebody in my age range can really connect the past and the future in that range because we're millennials, so we kind of connect that old school with the kind of new people because we kind of is that that age range that was before the internet, right before, but then we grew up when the internet was starting. So, it was easy for me to connect those dots and care about community enough to connect those dots. And so they gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it is so dope. I was so excited to see some of um, just Indianapolis's legends, like the older crowd and the younger crowd come together, and they all just it's called the Southern Grandeur gala that they do, and it just was so dope. I loved it. They made me feel special, and I love seeing people who I admire, who kind of instilled in, who were beacon of lights in me as a young trans woman coming up, even as a young queer little boy coming up. Um, it was so amazing to see the people. I remember one of the girls were there. I would sneak and ride the bus when I was a teenager and go see her at her job because she was a trans woman and she was working at a regular job. And even though she was mean, she was a mean trans woman. I would still go just because just seeing her there was such an inspiration to me. And so she was the unplanned host of the event. Isn't that dope? Like, so there was somebody else who was supposed to host it, but they didn't show. So she was the unplanned host. So I feel like the universe was saying, again, we love you. So I was able to give her rides. And so her and just other people, just so many other people in my city who kind of, I don't want to say raised me because that wasn't the case, but who were beacons of light in my life, even if they were negative. They were lights of existence. Because sometimes there's some nuances to people in community. Some motherfuckers in community is shady and annoying, but they exist. So it's still a little bit of like, ooh, they here. They may be mean as hell. They may be weird. They may be not community as I would want them to be, or friendly as I would want them to be, or not as shady, but they exist. And that in itself is a beacon of light of hope that, oh, if somebody like this exists, I just can do it differently. Does it make sense, y'all? But yes, thanks to Melissa Miller and Marissa Miller and Flo Kennedy and all the team over there at Trans Solutions Research and Resource Center for just giving me the honor. I appreciate it. I love it. Yes. Let me think. Let me think. And that is actually all I got. So yes, if you are new here, I'm just doing this just because it is appropriate to share our work, our community here. Um, so if you are new here, I have an archive of trans people. I have a podcast and an archive of trans people that I have interviewed for the past 15 years. This is a link to my podcast. And here is a link to on here on YouTube, you know, trans people being interviewed, queer discussions, not just it's not just trans people, but mostly trans people because I center trans people here, trans, queer, women, stuff like that. Um, but social justice discussions with people that I think are amazing. And so if you want to check it out, check it out. Anyway, great. So I got through everything. It was so much. How y'all been? What's been going on with y'all? I will be in my last thing is I will be in Los Angeles next week for the Out 100 um, event gala in Los Angeles. So I will be there. Um, I've never made the Out 100, but that's okay because I don't need to be in every on every list, but I love to be in spaces where queer people are because I love queer people, even if I'm not being celebrated. Just the fact that they are celebrating other queer people is enough for me, and I love that. But I am going because I like to celebrate queer people, even if I'm not on the list. I love queer folks. So I will be out there and enjoying my time in LA at the Out 100. So if you are there, make sure you come up and speak anytime. If you see me anywhere, make sure you come up and speak. Oh, I went to see Janelle Monáe and got my life work. Do I ever make it to Portland? I have been to Portland years ago. I went to Portland to interview Zion Gray because I was going to be on the West Coast, and so Zion is a trans man. If you, he's on the in the archive. Zion is cool as fuck and just an amazing. He was a police officer in Baltimore, one of the first trans police officer in Baltimore, and he's just an amazing guy. So I came to Portland to interview him. But I usually go to places. If I go to somewhere that's not an event is not happening, it's either because they have invited me, like a school speaking engagement, uh, um, some type of event. Usually, that's what I'm coming for. I'm not just going. If I'm spending money on a vacation, baby, I'm going to Bali or going. I'm going somewhere, like that. But if I'm usually going to a place, what I try to do is if there's an event that I'm being paid to go to, I will try to find people who live in that area to kind of interview if they have popped up on my radar. So I've been to Portland, but I don't know if somebody want me to come, get them, put my name in the basket, let them know, hey, get Diamond Styles to come, and I will definitely come. Every video that I have seen of people going to see Janelle Monáe, the videos have been lit, and I love it. Hey team, enjoy life. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yay! This is the award that they gave me. That is good. Okay. So it's late. I'm starting late, so we want to get into it. So all right. So what do y'all think? This video I named it Dwight Howard. Are DL men making strides? Because I am. So if you have been living under a rock, Dwight Howard is a basketball player. He has been accused of sexual assault by a man, and within the court documents that were released, the man was saying that when they agreed to hook up, and in the process of them hooking up, Dwight sprung some. They didn't say that they were trans, but in that it was a man dressed up like a woman named Miss Kitty came out the closet or whatever, came out, and they didn't know it was gonna be like a threesome. It just was a bunch of witchery. Of course, Dwight Howard is denying it, or it's denying that part of it, denying the part about there was some sexual assault happening. He is saying that all that we would happened with us was consensual. Um, so yes, but because the public is going to do what the public is going to do, they're really, unfortunately, they're not focusing on the sexual assault part. They're focusing on the is he gay part. They're focusing on his sexuality, and I think that that is kind of indicative of how obsessed with cis men sexuality that we are. Because imagine if this was a um, even remember even when R. Kelly has been, you know, going with little girls, teenage girls, underage girls, blah 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 blah. But soon it feels like soon as they learned that there was a boy in the mix, oh, maybe he was, maybe he was doing this. Even that. Do you remember how the tone changed when there was a boy in the mix? When it comes to his supporters, like the sexuality thing is so important to people, and it's kind of wild that that they have been making jokes about his sexuality. I'm on Twitter. Is Trade and DL different? Um, I do think that there's I think there is a difference. I think there is a difference. Do we need to talk about what DL is? Do we need to talk about that? Is that too 101 for this conversation? I don't mind if I need to. Do anybody need um a definition of DL, download, trade? Do do we need a definition of that? Or are we there? I can do it if that's where we are for educational purposes. um when the boy was brought up, then R. Kelly was discussing. Exactly. It seems like definitions have changed. How do you think they have changed? Just a little refresher if you have time. It's like the difference between a square and a rectangle. One can be the other, but the other one can't be. But the other one can't be one. Just explain that a little bit more, GG. Go a little bit deeper into that. I want to understand what you mean. Okay, so God, language is an ever changing entity. So understand the Trans 101 song. Trans 101. Yeah, yeah. So language, like with anything, like with words and language, like with any other word, changes and it shifts with every generation. Um, with different things happening. So like understand that words change, connotation of words, context of words, all that changes the word's meaning. And so, region of the area of where you live, that word can have a different connotation. Let me give you a perfect example. I don't want to say perfect, but in my cultural reference of my life, I grew up in the Midwest, but I grew up around people from the South. So, in my culture, in the Midwestern culture, when you say somebody is a punk, punk means the connotation of punk when I was growing up, it means that you're scared. Like you are a punk and you're scared to do something. Somebody punks you, they scared you, or like they're bullying you and scaring you from being yourself or scaring you into doing something. They punked you. Punk did not, growing up in my area, my region, did not have a homosexual connotation. Punk was anybody could be a punk, any kind of scary person who was scared. Oh, you being a punk. Oh, you a punk. You see what I'm saying? But in the South, punk means gay. Punk has a homosexual connotation. So when somebody, so I remember my mother when I was coming up, my mother would say, like when like I remember some boys were chasing me home because I was being a punk. Scared to fight. Not scared to fight one, but it was multiple. So I was scared to fight multiple. That's what it was. And so my mother forced me to fight people. She would say, no, you might grow up to be a fag, but you ain't going to be no punk. You see the difference in the wording? Now that wouldn't work in the South because punk is equivalent to fag in the South. So where you at is different. So that's what I mean by words can be mean different connotations. And it's layered because somebody could move to the south, move to the up north from the south and call you a punk, and to them, they're calling you a faggot. But to you from the Midwest, they're calling you scared. Oh, you a punk. You know, that kind of stuff. So words are ever changing, connotation is different. That's why when people will be acting like this means this means that, it means different things, motherfucker. Just depends on where you at. So, trade. Let's talk about trade. So, in our culture, trade is definitely uh, a mad person, assigned male at birth. Usually, we don't call women trade. That's unless it's some unique situation that I don't know about. Usually, women are not referred to as the trade. Sometimes jokingly, tongue in cheek, well, how I do it, tongue in cheek, will call like a stud, especially a really masculine one. Oh, yes, the tray. She's giving the tray. We'll give it that kind of, if it's a really passable stud that's looking like a man, that's giving real masculine, we'll call them the tray. Just kind of tongue in cheek. We know that this is a stud, but we're jokingly saying trade. Trade in certain connotations could mean down low. I think that's what Gigi was referencing. Um, could be down low. You feel what I'm saying? Um, but trade don't necessarily have to be down low. Trade could just mean nigga. Like if I'm getting on the bus. Also, I'm speaking to you from a black context, baby. So these are culturally black words. Now, of course, other people co-opt and use the language too, but most of the queer language that we use come from us. So DL usually is referencing to black men. It's very rare that we gonna be referencing some white boy as a DL, even though their language is closeted. Our language is gonna be DL, down low. Theirs is gonna be, oh, he's closeted. I rarely hear white LGBT people say Trey, unless they're in community with black LGBT people. Yes. Um, but yes, usually, like, say I get on the bus and I'm with my trans home girl, um, and I look on the back of the bus. I'm like, oh my god, so many Trey back there. When I say that, I'm not talking about them being down low. I'm talking about them just being dudes, just to being niggas. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, it's a trade. If I go to some little spot and I'm like, ooh, the trade is sickening up in here. The trade is men. It's just men. In that connotation, is I'm just meaning men. Oh, the trade is in here thick. Oh, it's tons of trade out here. Girl, come to the mall. The trade is deep. I'm just meaning men. I'm just saying the men, it's a bunch of men here. Okay. Um, but if I'm talking about, sometimes I would be say, my homegirl say, girl, this fine ass dude start working at my job. Let me show you his picture. I snuck and took a picture of him. Ooh, she showed me his picture. This is a dude that I met on Grinder. who didn't have no pictures, but I know him from looking because he come and give me head all the time. I might be messy and say, "Oh, he trade," meaning that he mess around. If you're young, you do that. I don't do that now that I'm older, but if you're young, you might do that. Oh, he trade. Or some, I'm trying not to say fish. A cis woman will tell you that we're talking about language, and fish is a language that we use. I'll talk about that another time, but that's problematic. But say it's this girl is trying you. You a butch queen, and she trying you and calling you all kinds of agates and da 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 da, and she don't know that her trade is the trade. He mess around, and I know he mess around because he mess around with my homeboy, or he mess around with my whatever. He mess around, and so she don't know that her man is trade while she trying to fag you down. So this dude is DL. This is the trade. There's some nuance to it. There's to me, now this might be controversial definition, but I know a lot of people that agree with me. If you coming out to the gay club, you ain't trade. No. If you coming to the gay prides, you ain't trade, sweetie. You just a regular gay boy. You just a regular dude. You trade is somebody who is on the low, who is not openly queer, who is not openly gay, not openly into trans people. And there's some nuance there too. Trade has the connotation of it is not open. It is on the down low. Now, there are different types of trade. Now, this is where the butch queens and the trans women there's gonna be some verses in this moment. There are trade that will mess with a butch queen. There is trade that will mess with a trans woman. There's trade that will mess with both. But there are trade that will do either one, but not the other. There's some trade that are specifically only fuck with trans women. There's some trade that specifically only fuck with butch queens because they, usually you talk to them and be like, if I'm gonna be with a woman, I'm gonna be with a regular woman, not some chick with a dick. It's some of them that have that mentality, and then it's some that say, I'm down with a trans woman because she is kind of freaky. She got a piece. I gotta look. I can look over it. I may not do nothing with it, but she's sexy to me. And I like the female figure. I like a woman. I like the feminine looks of a woman, but I'll play around on the woman side. I'm not gonna be with a butch queen. I'm not gonna be with just a feminine boy, and I'm not gonna be with somebody that doesn't look like a girl. Now, we got tons of shit that kind of gray that area. You got tons of butch queens that really look like girls when they try. And you get what I'm saying? And you got some, that's just what it is. So they kind of shake it up. And what trade will play with them, you never know. You never know. You ain't got the stuff that you need to be a woman. You what you need to do. You ain't got no titties. You don't look soft. You just got a wig on, bro. No, thank you. That ain't my tea. I like trans women and women. So this is where it gets kind of nuanced, but those are the trade. That's the down low men, the men who, that kind of stuff. It does, Gigi. I can pull it out. Let's see. The Queen's English. We love Chloe Davis' book. Let me see. How does she Define the trade. She has it right there. The trade. All right. The trade. Which is so fun. I'm glad you brought this up. The trade. A casual sexual partner for a gay, bisexual, or queer man. The term rough trade or phrase piece of trade can be used. I'm about to call up my trade. I need some company. That's the example. More information. More information. Think a hookup, a piece of ass. A male who identifies as heterosexual but occasionally has same gender or queer sexual encounters. Also see down low or sweet and low. No, another example they gave was no more chasing the tray who will spew homophobic slurs in the day and then privately text you late at night. No more chasing the tray. Want more information? Think a queer man who presents as straight. In the Black gay community, this term refers to a masculine man not easily identified as gay due to the stereotypes of gay men. Nick, damn, who is that hugging on Hakeem? Girl, that fine ass Trade is Khalil. Trade is popping outside. One more info. Think a masculine gay guy who does not look gay. Usage note. This term is commonly used in gay male and transgender communities. I think that's a clear. Yes. I think that was cute. I like the term trans attractive for men that likes Poppy if the men like Poppy if is comfortable with it. I like transamorous. I like trans attracted. Um, yeah, I let them identify themselves. So Butch Queen can be trade. So I think when we describe Butch, this is remember there's some nuance. Somebody might disagree with this. I think usually when Butch Queens are described as trade, they are talking about their presentation. They're not necessarily calling them trade as in they're down low. They're calling them trade in the sense of they look masculine. Oh, he like to give the trade. You see what I'm saying? Usually when Butch Queens are talking like that, now they could be talking about down low, but if they're like, say they at a gay club, they will be and they're talking about a dude that walked in with another dude. Who is trade with Antoine? Oh, that's his new boo. You see what I'm saying? He don't necessarily mean that he is down low. He's just remember I told you trade can come sound just mean a dude or a man or masculine. Does it make sense? So down low is specific to trade could mean a bunch of shit. Not a bunch of shit, but it could mean just dude. It could be just a dude in general, just a nigga, just a male in general. It's more universally used. But down low is specific. A down low man is specifically about somebody who is not openly queer, openly open about their sexuality. Sometimes you will hear trans women and sometimes Butch Queens talk about how ain't no trade no more. And one of the reasons why that is because of the internet, I think, um, it is more open and more revealed and more like people know about everything now. Motherfucker, the trade is asking you your pronouns. So it's kind of like if you oh God, this is problematic, but it's problematic, but I'm just gonna say it because it's the truth about our community. There is a fetishization of men who are on the down low in our community. It is a fetishization of men who are um, really straight, who haven't messed around before. It's their first time. Um, there is a fetishization of men who perform masculinity in a way that is undetectable, that is um, aligned with cis heteronormativity. This is a problematic thing. It's not something that I'm personally proud of, but it's definitely a part of our community to fetishize these type of men. Similar to how cis women fetishize the bad boy or the thugs or that kind of toxic masculinity. We do that in a way in our community as well. Am I telling the truth or am I lying? Do y'all agree or disagree? Yes, we think we eating it up. I was his first. He would never do you hoes, and that's how I thought in the '90s. You hoes can't take me. Yes, there was a, especially when you're younger, there was a prestige in being somebody's first. There was a prestige in turning niggas out. There was a prestige in, you know, the dude who doesn't mess around and you being special enough for him to mess around. Now, what you learn is that sometimes these niggas be lying, or sometimes it don't be that special. Yeah, you were they first, but you just opened the door for the floodgates to come, and now they're messing with all the girls and all the butch queens and everybody. So, honey, you just was the one that uh, cracked the dam open. There's another element to that kind of fetishization too. Being the first to do certain things, the first that the trade gave some head, the first the trade let you plunge them, the first, just kind of cross all these different various lines. There is a prestige in these things. Yeah, first to first that the trade spent some coins on. Yeah, you hoes is free, but he paid me. There is a prestige in these things. They'll always tell you they never did it before. Not always. Sometimes they be proud of their conquest. Oh, y'all like my shirt? Rainbow Rose Survivor. I love this shirt. Did y'all ever feel like he not trade after you munch or bottoms? Of course. It changes. It changes. And these are problematic things in our community. It changes. It changes. It's really toxic. Like, for me, I don't know about nobody else, but it's exciting to get the dude to cross the line. But as soon as he cross the line, I'm gonna be thinking different. ah, you know, as soon as you get to gobbling some meat, baby, you faggot. Soon as you let me plunge, oh girl, oh Miss Thing. I don't, now that I'm older, it's not as intense as it was when I was younger. When I was younger, oh yeah, I'll kick you. When I was younger, it was real bad. I would kick you out of my house if you tried to give me some hair. If you try to give me some buns and some hair, baby, oh baby, I will call you all every FAG in the world and kick you out and be offended. When I was like 15, 16, 17, not 16, usually, yeah, like 15, 16, 17 in my teenage, baby. Oh, baby. You try to give me some buns and give me some hair? Oh, baby. It is so funny. I remember I had this dude who everybody wanted in my high school. I did not want him. He wasn't ugly, but there's other dudes that I liked more than him. But a lot of the bitches liked him. But what I didn't know, he was connected to my cousin. So I have a cousin who was, I don't want to say he queer now. He got a boyfriend now. But during this time, he was kind of coming out and exploring. He had never messed around before, but he wanted to. And the person that he wanted to mess around with was this dude. But that dude wanted to mess around with me. So my cousin would try to, because my cousin is a butch queen, like this is my blood cousin, and he's a butch queen where he's coming into his butch queen status. He's coming from trade to be butch queen. I was like, I hang around the straight boys because I'm a straight boy, but I'm really not feeling this no more. I want to be a butch queen. And so that's what my cousin was doing. He was going into his butch queen status. And so when he was coming out of his butch queen status, he still had straight boy friends. And so one of these boys was that person. And so the straight boy found out that I was his cousin. And when he graduated from high school, because he was a year above me, when he graduated from high school, he was like, oh, this is my chance to do it because I'm never going to be in school with them. So I don't have to, if they tell anybody, I don't give a fuck. And so he called my cousin and was like, oh, what's Diamond number? Give me Diamond's number. He didn't tell my cousin what he was calling me for, but my cousin already knew. Like, why would you want to call my training cousin? So he calls me, the trade calls me, and my cousin tells me that he called and gave him my number. And so the trade calls me. I'm thinking actually it's my cousin playing because they have similar voices. Because both of my cousin is masculine. He's not like a feminine gay boy. He just masculine. He's a trade, but not down low. He gives off the trade. And so when he calls, I don't really know it's him. Like I don't believe it's him. I think it's my cousin playing. But he pulls up in this bright cherry red Monte Carlo SS, shiny and sickening, and he comes in the house, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to have it. Like I said, it wasn't somebody that was on my list to have because they really wasn't. They was cute. Like it wasn't like, this is my sickening. But it's somebody cute. So many people did want to have him that it's a cute little mark on your list. Because so many of my homegirls loved him. And so he came over and baby, I thought I was gonna be gobbling that meat. I thought, you get what I'm saying? I thought that I wanted him to put that dick out. I'm like, I'm about to suck you, wear you out. Baby, he was trying to suck me. I was like, sweetie, I feel so stupid. Thinking back at this, I feel so stupid. But I was sitting him down and he tried to suck my piece. I was like, what are you doing? I am a woman. Honey, you are a man. Think about a 17-year-old talking to somebody like this. I am a woman and you are a man. I'm supposed to do the girl stuff and you are supposed to do the boy stuff. And you giving me head is not masculine. That is not what straight boys do. Are you gay? Are you a kid? This is what I'm giving him. A whole trans woman. I used to wear the tray out. And he's, to this day, we still cool as fuck. I hooked up with him when I was in Indianapolis last night. We still cool as fuck. To this day, he said, you made me feel so fucking embarrassed. Now we do everything. But at that time, he said, you made me feel like I was the gayest. He said, you made me feel like I was the gayest thing walking. He said, because how can the trans person, the gayest thing I know, make me feel this much like a faggot? We crack up about it now that we grown in our 40s. Because he like 43. No, 44. So I'm 42. So it's a kiki that that we laugh about every time we talk. Because he said, "Your ass make me felt like." He said, "I left that fucking place because I ended up, but I would have put him out, but because he was who he was, I wanted him on my record, and so I didn't put him out. But I was like, just lean back. I'm gonna do you, just to get you on my record." And so he said, I walked out of there. Yeah, I nutted, but I felt embarrassed as hell. So yes, I don't know how did I get on this story, but yes, I was when I was younger, I was the person that what you do. That's how we got on there. Okay, what you do just did sexually made me feel like, are you really gay? Because remember, let's get serious. Remember, as a trans woman, as a trans little girl, teenage girl, when you transition early, there is this thing where the world is telling you that you're not what you are. Okay. And there is it's kind of like when you first get your titties and you always got to have them out. You always got to have your cleavage out, and it is like you're battling against so many people saying you're not a girl, you're not a girl, you're not a girl, you're not a girl, that you are doing there's no room for nuance. There's no room for I am trying to be recognized as who I am. And so if you're doing something that some hyper femininity, but no, it's more but yes, I think that's a level of it. But you kind of turn away from things that would prove other people right. You feel what I'm saying? Like I turned away from video games, things that even though girls play video games, they're a big market of video gamers. I kind of turned away from things that was deemed masculine, that was deemed for boys or that boys do, even if I liked it, just to kind of prove a point to people because I was trying to prove my womanhood. And so you go through this for me, and I'm only speaking for myself as a trans woman. I'm sorry if it's for other people, but it other people may relate. For myself, I had to go through a change in me through self-reflection, and some people don't do this, and realize who are you as a woman? What shit do you like as a woman? Because there are some things that you do like that you're saying you don't like only because of outside forces, outside opinions. And that's in the realm of sex, that's in the realm of activities, that's in the realm of how I want to dress, that's in the realm of everything. And so I had to really and in my brain I'm like, and this ain't how cis women maneuver in freedom. No, I'm not trying to be no cis woman. I'm a trans woman. But how can I be free from these shackles? How can I be free from the shackles of this, whatever this standard of womanhood is? Because sometimes I'm not going to be this hyper feminine thing. Sometimes I'm not going to want to be that. So, whatever this standard, and what I learned in my journey of learning that, I learned that cis women is going through that journey too. I learned that they're going through that journey of how much do I want to adhere to the rules of what a woman look like, should be, blah blah blah. Is it, is it being too big, too masculine, having a deep voice, too masculine? There's these things that cis women have that they have to navigate their womanhood with as well. And so, in my own personal journey, I had to not only realize that this is something that women of all cases, really any gender that's trying to fit these standards, men trying to fit masculinity, women trying to fit femininity, we all are going through this gender process. And how we live up to it gives us access to privilege, social capita. It gives us access to money. It gives us access to spaces, access to community. It also, and when we don't live up to those standards, it takes those things away. And so, how we are all compromising. And if you are listening and enjoy what I'm saying, make sure you thumbs up. We are all compromising to and from how far we gonna go with this femininity stuff. Some women are gonna be way more feminine. I'm rewatching um um I'm rewatching Living Single because this is like their 30-year anniversary or whatever. And so I'm rewatching it. And so I'm watching how they're navigating each woman. If you remember Regine was that hyper feminine. And you remember she had an episode where she had to have a breast reduction because it was harming her back. And then I'm watching um Queen Latifah, who we know we've all read her even younger as a lesbian, but she didn't get to come out until recently, these past couple of years. So I'm watching how all these characters and how Khadijah had a masculinity about her, and how Max had a masculinity about her too, but not in how she presented her body. You saw Khadijah in more, there was a masculinity to her clothing that Max did not have, but Max had some feminist masculine energy in her, in how she dealt with her men, as opposed to Regine and Sinclair being that kind of hyper feminine. Regine being the performing femininity in the way that she dressed with the wigs and titty tatas up, and how sexy she was, especially in the beginning of the season, in the beginning of the y'all like how I'm tying in these cultural references, bitch. Y'all like it. Y'all getting into it. Regine, and then you got Sinclair, how she dotes and feminine she is to Overton, and that these these four women are giving you these kind of archetypes where there is a masculinity. We in Khadijah and Max, and a femininity in Sinclair and Regine. That is, if you pay attention to what's happening, they're performing. It's the character, and so we are all navigating that, and we don't give um another thing, we don't give men, because we're supposed to be talking about Dwight Howard. We don't give men room for that kind of nuance. We actually don't, and still be okay and in the man box. Do you see what I'm saying? There is more. I think, my personal opinion, there are more. There are more less freedoms with how men can present. Not saying that they don't figure out ways to present. They don't figure out ways, nuances, but definitely around how they can print. I think that there are less freedoms with them, especially around sexuality. Yes. So I had to learn for myself that I am somebody who is the woman that I'm going to be, who is the person that I'm going to be, if I didn't have these rules, if I didn't have these, when I was younger, the rules was okay. I'm a woman. This is what we're gonna do. These are the rules of womanhood. Da, 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 da. But then as you become an adult woman, you realize that those rules are bullshit, and those rules can harm you. Those rules can attract attention that you don't want. Those rules can box you in a way that doesn't give you freedom. And I wanted the freedom of the freedom that cis women had, free cis women. I wanted the freedom of womanhood that cis women had. Like, I wanted my womanhood to be on my own standards. Now, there's some cis women that align with those rules, and they're still battling that, and that's okay. But I wanted to be one of the free women. I just so happen to be trans. These rules are not in your best interest, to be honest. They are not. That's the thing about patriarchy, though. It's a cell that men have the key to unlock. They just aren't aware that they don't have it and don't want to unpack the freedom. Boom. This brings me back to some of the points that I wanted to make about Dwight. So, as we have seen, there is tons of jokes. If you go on Twitter last week, you will see tons of jokes about Dwight Howard. There is tons of memes being made, tons of jokes. It's just this joke about his sexuality and him taking dick, and him being freaky, and he finally come out the closet. It is taking it as a joke, and I'm like, outside of y'all ignoring that this is a sexual assault allegation. But y'all are making this this was happening. Y'all can't be free from these shackles that you're talking about because y'all don't take y'all harm seriously. So y'all complain to women, oh, when we get abused or when we get molested and when we get raped or whatever that may be, y'all don't take it seriously. Whatever trauma that patriarchy is doing to us as men, um, y'all don't take it seriously. Y'all don't take it seriously. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Y'all make jokes about it. I don't see, is there some women playing along? Absolutely. I'm not saying that women don't participate, but it's mainly niggas who is making jokes about this man's sexuality. Y'all are doing it to yourselves, but then you want to get it mad at us when you don't have room to do something else. When you're the one hurt. It's different when you're the one making the jokes, but when you are the one hurt by the man box, shout out to I call the men. When you hurt by this entity, when you're hurt by these rules of masculinity, when you too broke to be seen as a man, because that's what this restaurant shit, this Cheesecake Factory restaurant shit got y'all mad about, is that your masculine standard of class you're not living up to. You don't like women having these standards because it's masculine when you can pay for things. Because a nigga who got money, who has money, who has the means to take care of all his household, he makes the rules. And he likes to make the rules. He like to be head of household. He like to be able to brag and say, "Oh, my wife ain't got to do nothing. I pay all the bills. I'm a man." That is a social status. They don't want women to judge them, but they want that social status. I want you to understand that. They don't want a woman to choose them because of money, but they want the money to be able to say, "I'm the man," so they can puff their chest out in front of other men. "Oh, my woman don't have to work. I pay all the bills. Oh, I build a house from the ground up where I can raise my family and my wife and my kids." Not when they're young, but when they're older, that becomes a being married and having a home and taking care of your home is a social status. It is a high status quo. And they want to be able to do that, but they also want to control women. They want to control which women they have access to. So they want to shame women who have the standard of that. They want that standard, but on their own terms. But they want to shame women who have the standard. So if there's a girl who is out of their league, they want to have access to her. They want to say, "Oh, if I'm not up to the standard of maestros or whatever the whole money thing is, then I need to be able to. Then how dare you not choose me for me and let me take you to McDonald's? Let me take you to Cheesecake Factory." There is a control in that. Don't let it fool you. Yes, it's romantic and sweet, and "oh, I'm choosing a man just for love." That's not realistic, baby. I know that there that can exist, but it's bills out here. We gotta eat. No, you ain't gotta be rich, and somebody can choose you for other reasons. Yes, but your finances, your money, your ability to take care of yourself plays a part, and take care of your family plays a part in your choice in regards to everything. It doesn't need to be high. Money doesn't need to be high on your list, but it's there. I don't care what nobody try to tell you. It's there. That is, it may not be totally most important to everybody, but that's important because we all got to eat. We all got to have a roof over our head. And even if it's in partnership, it's important. Like, yeah, you may not need a dude to pay all the bills. No, but you need a dude to contribute. You need a dude who do something to help. Same thing with sometimes dudes who can't make a lot of money. That's why black women have always been working. You need to contribute something. That's why they went to be maids and washerwomen and da 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 da. That's the economics of a relationship is important. Anybody try to tell you it's not, it's not. It's a lie. But anyway, so when they don't fit these rules that they made up, they try to make it and be they try to make it seem like it's women's fault. That's what it is. That's what the tea is. They try to they they don't want to they don't want to live up to these rules, but they don't understand. Like they love to talk shit about feminism, but literally feminism is the way to get you free from the shackles of what we're talking about. If you equalize everything, if you make it equal, we all can contribute. We all can do this. Da 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 da. Da. It's nothing. It's no kind of status quo um status that happens when we're talking about relationships, when we're talking about class. If you make those more equal, you don't have to live up to these high standards that makes you feel less of a man, that makes you feel more like an incel, that makes you feel like, oh, you can't get a partner, that makes you feel like you got to be this perfect, amazing, got to stay in the gym all the time, body specimen to pull a woman and money. As the system is right now, yes, you got to do all of that stuff. You got to be taking her fancy. If you want, everybody want that what they call the men with the money, the high value man. If everybody or the you want a high value woman. Now, high value man usually talk about how much money he got. High value woman is how she look. Usually, they usually ain't talking about how much money she got. Sometimes, but a high value woman is gonna be a woman that makes you look like you're a high value man, and that's the rules. She's an accessory. She looks like, oh, I know he must got money because ain't no way this type of woman is gonna be with him. There's a status that comes with her. She's a high value woman. That's why Kanye West went and got um Amber Rose out of the strip club. Ooh, this is like a Lamborghini that I can have on my side. This is why he married Kim Kardashian. This is a high value type of woman. She's used to money. She's a white girl. It makes me look great. That's why I was with the black girl when I was broke. But once I got to a certain status, and you got Jay-Z over here grabbing Beyonce, you got Damon Dash grabbing Aaliyah. I need to get something that's gonna make me look like I have status, like a Lamborghini, but in a woman, Kim Kardashian. You see what I'm saying? And so if you're trying to the way the status is right now, the way the system and not status, the system is right now, those things, everybody, there's a status in all of these things. But y'all made those rules up. And the rest of us who are marginalized are just following them. We're just following the rules. We're trying to be, you know, we're trying to be some of us, not all of us, but some of us are trying to make goes back to what I said of making those compromises. Some of us are not compromising to the point where we are just our whole lives revolve around it, but we are making those kind of compromises. When we get surgeries, when we get certain cars, when we live in certain areas, when we buy certain things, we are making compromises in regards to those um, those status quos that we're trying to live up to. So, what I wanted to ask y'all in regards to DL men, I'm seeing more men get to the point. If we listen to the little live that he did recently, Dwight Howard, he was like, "Why are y'all? What I do in my bedroom is none of y'all business." And so it's to the point where I feel like DL men, they no longer are in space where they feel like they are alone. I feel like it's so many men that have either been caught or been exposed or um have these kind of moments that they know that they are not alone out here. I remember back in the day, I would meet dudes who felt like they were the only motherfucker that was down low or who would mess around. But I done ran through the whole clique. So nigga, he done came over here and gave me some head too. He done came over, he tried to sneak up my house when you not here. They all mess around, bruh. So, but because of the status or because of their being in the closet, they feel like they the only motherfucker in that closet. They feel like, oh, I'm the only one like this, when that is just not true at all. But now, because of the internet and people being exposed and people coming out, I feel like they know they out here. They know they're not the only one. So when they do get caught, that's instead of them being vehemently denying it, no, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. They say that. They say, oh, what I do in my bedroom is my business. Get out of my business. Why are you worried about me? They're more free to give that response and saying no, maybe. I feel like there's a shift. Do y'all think that there's a shift? And also, are they making strides for themselves? Like, are the DL men making strides for themselves? Like, I also feel like, when do y'all get tired? Like, y'all benefit from us open queer people making the world more accepting. But what work y'all do, my niggas? Like, it feels like, are y'all? I don't ever feel sorry for them. I don't ever. Yeah, they're gaining community, but not freedom for themselves. Like, and for me, I never feel sorry for them because I feel it goes back to when I hear people talk about, hey Maxwell, um, when I hear people talk about mass for mass and the fetishization of masculine men in the gay male community, um, because I'm like, y'all niggas don't really do nothing for our freedom. So I am never going to be capping and going to be caping for these niggas. Like, I'm never going to be caping for, why are you exposing them? Why are you outing people? You ain't never going to hear me in that situation. I understand how wrong it can be, but I'm also not going to be super super heavy about a motherfucker getting exposed, cuz it's like, y'all don't really be doing nothing for a community. Y'all don't really be doing, y'all don't take the heat. Do you know how many times motherfuckers is bullying me and wearing me out, and I'm walking down the hallway getting called a faggot, getting called a he, she, getting called something, just particularly in high school. And I know all these niggas who are down low and not saying nothing. And I'm getting the grunt of shifting the culture in this school to where y'all motherfuckers can be free. But y'all just kind of walking and being quiet. And I know you mess around. I know you mess around with my homeboy Mario. I know you mess around with me. I know you mess around with him. I know y'all two basketball players, and I know y'all mess around together. But y'all on the down low. But I'm the one getting the negativity of the homophobia, and y'all just kind of skirting. I have resentment. There's a resentment in me for down low men. It is. I gotta be honest. There's a resentment because they don't do anything for community, but they get the benefits of it. I feel the same way about stealth people. I understand it when it comes to safety, but Me and my homegirl was talking about this today. It do I want to say this? So, you know what annoys me is when people have been in the closet for 30, 40 years, and then they come out the closet and get on all the lists, the queer list. That annoys me. You've been in a closet doing nothing for 30, 40 years, and now you on the out 100. That's weird to me. That annoys me. Give them some time to be out here doing the work. You just coming out the closet after waiting 30, 40 years, child. That annoys me. I gotta be honest. It annoys me. Oh, the bravery award. What? You've been hiding and lying for 30, 40 years. Yes, I understand why. But I'm not calling you brave because you 60 and coming out the closet. Were you? Of course you brave at 60, bitch. You about to get up out of here. And I'm not talking about Caitlyn. We know about Caitlyn, but Caitlyn's weird too. And I'm not talking about trans folks. Wayne Brady. Um, it's just I was talking about Queen Latifah. Rosie O'Donnell. I get it. Like I understand when Raven, you was like, I don't understand why. I understand there are consequences that comes with being openly queer. I get it. We saw it with the Ellens. We know that there are consequences. But motherfuckers who don't have the luxury of hiding, we do all this shit. We deal with the battles. We deal with the negative stuff. Motherfuckers was trying to fucking throw boiling hot water on me in fucking college for nothing. Like we deal with the negative shit, the harms, the getting attacked, and da 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 da. And then y'all motherfucker come up 40, 50 years old. I don't know. It just feels weird. There is a bitterness to me. There's a when I think about it, it's a bitterness to me. I understand why. But it's still a bitterness. Oh, Sandra Codwell. I think that's who you're talking about, Brandon. Hey, Chris. Sandra Codwell. But yes, I think that there is especially now, like back 80s, 70s, 90s. But it's shit so open out here and free now. I'm like, why are you fucking in the closet? I'm getting less understanding. I'm like, why are you in the closet? I get the resentment, but we all are trying to survive. You are right. We all are trying to survive. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. We are all trying to survive. It still makes me bitter. It still makes me annoyed that it's like that. That it is yeah, that it is like that. It makes me it annoys me. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm just annoyed by it. And not necessarily It's partly at them specifically, but it's mostly, yes, the systems is a problem, but it's like, I don't know, I just feel like you should sit down. You just came out, baby. But I'm one of them people that I feel like you're helping. I feel like complacency is helping. That's what I was saying. I would see people, I would be getting bullied, and they just being quiet and doing nothing and saying nothing. I feel like that's complacency. And it don't mean that people can't do stuff behind the scenes, and I just feel like it's complacency, and I feel like that is problematic for me. Or cowardice. Some people do not have the strength truly. Yeah, there is a cowardice to it. So it's just people, and there's another element too. So one of the things that Dwight Howard said was, and I was listening to Mace because they were laughing about it. And my there was they were triggering me in regards to, Mace was like, it is basically, he was saying, what you do in your bedroom is our business. If you my homeboy, blah 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 blah. So my initial reaction was, it ain't your fucking business, because we're talking to, my my defensive is going to defend DL people, because I know, especially against cis het people, because I know y'all are the fucking privileged ones and y'all are trying to be homophobic to this person. So it triggers me. So when I was thinking about, when Mace was like, it is our business, it is, we want to know if our homeboy like dudes, like we want to know that or not. We talk about bitches, we talking about this, we talk about that, and then you like niggas, and whatever. However he did it. And I was like, no, it is not your business. What they do in their bedroom is their business. So they don't have to tell you. But, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. But let me say this. When I find out something about my friend, and I'm not talking about some nigga I don't know. I think that you, with some dude you don't know, you don't need to know they fucking business. But because Mace was like, if you my friend, there is some things that if my friend is keeping it from me, particularly around sexuality, particularly around certain things, I'm gonna feel some kind of way about it. Because why are you keeping that from me? If we friends, why am I finding out this way? If you get exposed and I find out, why you couldn't tell me? There was a situation with one of my friends. People like that are not safe spaces. So my friend, so y'all know my mom. My mom had an addiction. I had a addiction to crack throughout all of my adult life, till she passed. She started when I was like 11. So most of my late teens, early teens, late teens, early 20s, 30s, my mom has been a crackhead until she passed away. This is something that I with my friends that I have vented about with my friends. Okay? Something that I've had deep emotional conversation with my friends for 40 years. For this whole time I've been alive, not the whole time, but you get what I'm saying. As long as I've been friends with people, this is something that in my intimate conversations, when I'm having issues with my mom and I'm venting to my friends, this is something that I am talking about. Imagine if after what 30 years you have a friend, years and years and years, okay? Imagine that friend tells you, is forced to tell you because of a circumstance that was out of their control, is now forced to tell you that their mother also has an addiction. And this in this whole 30 years, they never shared that with you. In this whole 30 years that you have been venting to this person. Now it's their business. It's their relationship with their mother. They don't have to share it. But I want you to think about how you would feel if your closest friend was forced to, based on circumstances, was forced to reveal that they shared this thing with you and they never revealed it. Would you feel some kind of way about that? Like you sitting there like, oh, I can't believe she's doing drugs, and you're venting to this person about your mother's addiction, and at no point in the 30 years that you've been friends with them that they share with you that their mother was dealing with the same addiction. Would you feel some kind of, even though it's their business, they don't have to tell you, they don't have to say nothing because it's their business. Would you feel some kind of way? I felt some type of way. Because that was something that we could have bonded on. And you keeping it from me is weird. You keeping it from me is weird. I'm being vulnerable with you about something in my life because you're my friend. And you don't come out and say, I know exactly how you feel, baby. I'm in the same situation with mine. You intentionally keeping that from me is weird to me. It's weird as fuck. It's weird. It's intentional and it's weird. And I've been in that situation. I'm giving y'all a context of how somebody could keep something that's their business, that's their personal business. Yes, it's not sexuality, but these are somebody's personal business. It's their personal business how they can keep something from you if they're your friend and it be weird. No, they don't owe you. No, they don't have to, but it's weird when they don't because they have to be intentionally not being vulnerable to you. They have to be intentionally keeping it from you. If I'm dealing with this for 30 years and you don't share it with me, or you're not clear about it with me until something exposes it, that means you intentionally have not been sharing that. Why? Why were you not telling me that your mother had this same issue? Why were you not telling me? Why were you not having this bonding moment with me? Because we both share this experience. Why were you keeping this a secret? Let's see. It's a little questionable because they could have shared that without thinking that they were taking the focus off of you and what. And yes, Gigi, and we're talking about over a long period of time. We're not talking about one. conversation. We talk about a long period of time. There's a back and forth of venting and talking when you're in a friendship with somebody. There's vulnerability. There's a back and forth of us discussing some of our issues and some of our problems. When we talk about dudes and being if you're a woman, or if you date women, when we talk about dating, we talk about our experiences with men. We talk about our experiences of trust or distrust, infidelity, um responsibility. We share, we go back and forth. That's what friends do. So if you intentionally hide it, it's weird. I feel it's weird. And even though it's not my business, it's your business and you have the right to tell it when you want to tell it, da 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 da. It feels weird to me. And so that's the vein that I think about when I'm friends. No, if you're not my friend, your business, I don't really care. But if we are in community with each other and we are friends, there's certain things that I think I should know. I should know who you date. Not exactly the moment when you date them, like you should give me a list of everybody. But if you're in a relationship, I shouldn't find out at your marriage. If I'm your friend, I shouldn't find out at your marriage that you're with somebody. Oh, what? I shouldn't find out at your year anniversary. Yeah, you've been dating somebody for 2, 3 months. I might not know who the fuck they are. I might not need, you still figuring it out. But if you've been with somebody for a year and I'm your friend, I should know who that is. We should have talked about it. It should have came up if we're my friend. Now maybe I'm weird, but I think that's normal for friends to talk about stuff. And I'm close friends. It's different. Like if you just my associate, no. I don't think I need to know what my friend's sexuality is, period. If they choose to keep it to themselves, it doesn't mean that they're not a good friend in my book. Yeah, I'm the total opposite. I do. I think that if we're friends, why are you keeping it? That's weird to me. The intentionally keeping it, because a part of friendship is to be vulnerable, is to be open, is to talk about our personal lives. And one thing about our personal lives that's usually important in friendships, with mine, I don't know about nobody else's, is our relationships to people. That includes sex, work. I want to know where my friend works at. What do you do for a living? Where do you work? Like what is your, I want to know what's your educational background. Not necessarily the exact school you went to, but like what's your knowledge base? What is that? There's certain things that I want to know about my friend that are important to me to know about you. That informs me of you. Where are you from? Did you come from upper class? I would feel really weird if I'm having a conversation with my friend and 5 years into our relationship, I learned that they dad and mom is rich. That would be weird to me because why are you keeping that from me? You grew up in rich people area? I want to know that. I want to know your background. I feel like it's weird. And you keeping it for long periods of time means that it's intentional. And so you keeping it. If you're keeping it intentionally, then it makes me think of why are you keeping this information? Now, if you're a person that doesn't tell people anything, I'm probably not going to be your friend. You see what I'm saying? Like if you say you're a person that's just not open, I don't tell any of my business. I'm never going to with a friend like that. I'm never going to be with a friend with like ever. My friends are open and we talk to each other. We talk about everything. That's the type of friendship. I'm not talking about associates. I'm talking about friendship. That's the type of friendship I like. If you're intentionally keeping something, I'm gonna ask why. I want to know why. So if a long period of time I don't find out, that you actually was queer, and we done had queer conversations. We done talked about social justice. We done talked about intimate things about our sexuality. Right. I think times have changed. I see where you're coming from, but in the new age, friendships really don't go as deep as they used to decades ago. Oh, I totally disagree with that. I think there are tons of young folks in this day and age that that their friendships go deep. I don't what? I don't what? I totally disagree with that. I think there are tons of people who are having deep, intimate relationships when it comes to their friendships and being vulnerable and sharing things. Yeah, I think that's very. I don't think that that's true at all. I mean, I think the things down there talking about are normal. I think it is just the sexuality people are hung up on. Like, I definitely want to know stuff like your background and whatnot. Modern friendships still run deep. Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know what you talk about on team. I don't think that's true, team. I think that we're old, so we don't have the social cap as we did in the past. We're old now. Mm, I don't know. I have younger friends. I don't know. When it comes to friendship, I have young friends that I have deep, intimate friendships with. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm I'm 42, but I have friends that are in their 20s that I have deep conversations with, that we know stuff about each other, that we are vulnerable and open with. I have friends in my 30s. So I don't know. I, some people may I know that there are some people who just don't who are not just open and share. I wouldn't be friends with them, but yeah, I know people who are like that, that are kind of more shut off and guarded. Yes, I know tons of people like that. And that's okay for them to choose to be. I would not be friends with them. But if my friends is my friend for so long and we have been vulnerable about, because if I'm calling you my friend, we have there's something has happened in our relationship that has established us as being open and free, and there's things that have happened that you are now my friend. And so, if that lasts for a very, very long time and something comes out, I have to question why it was kept a secret for me. That's just me. I have to question because why? And if you tell me, oh, I didn't feel like it was a safe space, that's a legitimate response, and I'm gonna respect it. I'm gonna ask you, what about me made you feel like you wasn't safe to be able to tell me that you're gay, or tell me that your mom was a crackhead, or tell me what about me that made you feel like it wasn't safe for me to do that? Whatever it was that you was keeping. What about me? And that I would expect a response. I would want to know. You would have to explain that to me. But those are things you can relate to. Exactly. But that's why it would be weird for you not to share it. Because if it's something that I can relate to and I'm being vulnerable and sharing it with you, and we're friends and we've talked and da 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 da, then for me, that would indicate that I'm not judging you. I'm not gonna, this is something I'm dealing with too. Why wouldn't you share it? There's a, they need to move this somewhere. There's a heart. It's I'm able to heart stuff now, and they have put it in a weird spot. So I can't barely read some of the stuff. I can't some it cuts off some of y'all words. Yeah, I think there's a lot of DL dudes don't feel safe to share with friends. Totally understand it. Totally get it. I would feel weird. Hmm. The straight friends can't relate to the closeted friends, so it makes sense why he would not. Hmm. And there has to be a conversation. So, Chris, there had to be something. If you're a down low man and you're in community with your straight friends, there had to be something they said and did that made you feel like, oh, this isn't a safe place for me to tell them. There had to be something that they said or did. Totally true. But if your homeboy give y'all, this is a, I love to lived experiences. This is not my lived experience, but I'm sharing somebody else's story. So my little brother has, one second. I'll tell that story. I got to get permission to tell that story. I'll wait till he responds because it's not my story to tell. So I don't want to share it if it's not appropriate for me to share. uh, okay. Yes. So it's cool. So my little brother is a part of a fraternity, and his line brother is gay. Everybody is speculating that he's gay, and he's slowly confirming it, but real slow, like nigga. So let me give you a perfect example. So y'all know it be different type of line brothers. Like it be the straight ones, and then the gay ones be meeting other gay line brothers other places. So my brother said he came for homecoming. He came to this little event, and his line brother had came with a bunch of the gay ones, and my brother was like, "Oh my nigga, now I ain't gonna be now what's going on? Like, come on, why you ain't telling me what's going on with you?" So my brother, he like, everybody know I got a trans sister. Everybody know I ain't no homophobe. Everybody know that I'm cool. I'm cool with queer people. I ain't gonna treat you no kind of way. I'm cool. I don't act funny. And so he come in this space with the gay line brothers, and he like, "Hey, what's up?" Like he's being his cool, normal self. Like, "Hey, da 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 da." But he see his line brother that he was online with, and he like, he don't do this, but in his mind, he like, "This nigga got something to tell me. Like, why he ain't tell me what's up?" And so everybody is having a conversation about this boy's sexuality, and so my brother feels some kind of way about it because he feel like, damn, I pride myself on creating a safe space for people because my sister has taught me to create a safe place for queer people. So why this nigga ain't coming out to me? So he feels some kind of way about the dude not admitting it because he's saying that other people, he said my brother hasn't asked him, but other people has asked and he's denying it. But it's quite obvious. It's giving real obvious. Like you only connecting with the gay bros at other schools That's like, come on, we know what the tea is. And that's what my problem is. Why are they having a conversation about his sexuality if the boys are having a conversation about the other lion brothers? We gotta stop acting like sexuality isn't a part of our lives. That is sexuality is a normal conversation between people. If I'm Let me give you a perfect example. So me and my homegirl is talking about me and my homegirl is talking about sex. We're talking about um this dude's not making us come. Okay? Dude's not making us come. Oh, I remember I had this dude. I tried to teach him how to do it, and he just wasn't getting it. And he wasn't. I had to stop fucking with him because he just wasn't learning. And blah 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 blah. We're just talking, like, and we're just kikiing up. We're having a sexual conversation, not a turn on conversation, but a conversation about not being able to come. And my homegirl say, "I wonder what Mary, another one, our mutual friend. I'm making it up. Mary. I wonder what Mary has to say about it." Mary comes in the room, sit down. Mary, Mary ain't got nothing, can't tell us nothing about this conversation because Mary is celibate and she's a virgin. She doesn't have sex. Mary's sexuality was relevant. Why she could not add to this conversation, her sexuality, even though it's not our business, Mary's sexuality was relevant to the conversation that we was having because Mary was in the space. She's our mutual friend. Even when she's gone, I gotta say, oh, she won't know anything. She don't be fucking. She don't fuck. She ain't never fucked. She don't know what we talking about. So while her sexuality is not our business, we talked about her sexuality because it was relevant to the conversation. If me and my line brothers are talking about going to a party, what might come up is, ooh, is it gonna be what girls are gonna be there? But if you don't fuck with girls and we're on the prowl as line brothers and you gay, why would we invite you to this straight function if we know we all on the prowl? Your gayness is relevant to this conversation. Even not in a negative way. We're not being negative. You still our line brother. But people's sexuality comes up all the time because humans are sexual beings. Even if you're not having sex, people around you are, and so the conversation might come up. Oh, but you don't have sex. Or if I'm talking about having sex with multiple men, my multiple experience, and you've only been with your husband, your sexuality is that particular part of your sexuality is important if I'm having a conversation about how I'm teaching men how to make me come. Because you wouldn't know. You can tell me about your husband, but you ain't the nuance of that you don't know. That's an important thing that people talk about. So sexuality comes up. People's sexuality comes up all the time. So thinking that sexuality doesn't come up at all, people's sexuality comes up. When I'm trying to introduce my trans home girl to a guy that I know that's into trans women and I think he's a great guy, I need to know what she does in the bedroom to know if she matches him. If I know that she's only a top and he only a top, why would I bring them together? And I know they don't match sexually. I need to know her sexuality. So I might talk about her sexuality in this conversation. Well, I don't think she really into that. I think she a top. If I know it from her, her sexuality is important. Sexuality comes up. There's various situations where sexuality comes up. Sexuality is very controversial and influential. Able to get people's passion active either way, and sadly, also political. So it is complicated. You are right. You are totally right. It's very complicated. I will wonder how much they talk about it. Well, from my brother's standpoint, um, my brother says it doesn't come up unless it's a particular situation, and it usually only comes up when they have to gather together for something that deals with a thing, to deal with their line. Well, my brother considers his line brothers his friends. And the reason why he particularly feels some kind of way about it is because he he feels like this person is pushing them away in a certain sense, and my brother feels some kind of way about it. Like he feels like, "Oh nigga, you don't got to push me away. You my friend. You've been my friend since college, and if you want to be gay, you can be gay." That's how my brother feels. And so he feels some kind of way about it. And my advice to my brother is what I told my brother, it's none of your business, baby. I understand how you feel, but if he's not comfortable with talking to you about it or being open with you, you just got to accept it. So I want you to understand that I am telling him that it's none of his business, and you just got to accept that he's not being open with you about it. But I also understand why my brother feels some kind of way, because if I consider you my friend and I have not said or did anything that that I feel, they could feel that way, but that I feel constitutes you being negative. If just me being straight makes you feel like you can't, he feels some kind of way about him not giving him a chance to prove that I'm gonna be cool with you. You have decades of doing this. Some of us are new to it, and we don't want to mess up friendships talking about sexuality. Hmm. Decades of doing what? I'm confused. What do you decades of doing what? Conversating about doing what? Doing this. What do you mean? What is define this in that sentence? Yes, Brendan, I think that is the breakdown. I think his queerness has made has made him separate himself from his college friends. Which is what I told my brother. I was like, sometimes he's just not comfortable. Well, for whatever reason, it may not be no reason that you can control. This is what I told him. It may not be any reason that had to do with you. It's just him particularly. But it doesn't stop my brother from feeling like, nigga, what? You're my friend. Why wouldn't you give me a chance to prove that I'm not gonna treat you any kind of negative way? Gotta think about your white friends' feelings a type of way because you don't talk to them fully about your experience as a black person. I do. I don't have white friends that I can't talk about my black experience openly and fully with. You wouldn't be my friend if you're white and I can't be free about my blackness. I wouldn't be your friend. I wouldn't be friends with a white person that I feel uncomfortable talking about blackness with, my black experience with. So I would never have a friend that I would be uncomfortable to talk about my blackness. I actually very intentional about that. Like if I gotta be walking on eggshells around my white friends, hell no. But I'm like that about everything though. If I gotta be walking on eggshells With my cis friends, if I got to be walking and I can't speak the truth about the trans experience, I'm not your friend. Um, Men, if I can't speak the truth about feminism and sexism and patriarchy and misogyny around you, you ain't gonna be my male friend. Yeah, I'm pretty. When it comes to my friends, I'm pretty open. When it comes to open in the sense of I don't want to be able to be walking on eggshells or muzzled in any kind of way. I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I got to be muzzled. Mm. But I don't. Okay, I'll take that. It does give you it does give you a comfortability. Um, but I think my only pushback is that when we're talking about friends that's been friends for a long time, that just feels like it should be different. I'm not talking about your comfortability to the world. We talk about your comfortability to your friends. I think that's a different thing. But yes, you're right. I have been out for a long time, so I am comfortable with my sexuality. Mm. One of the ways I determine if I can have a non-black friend around me is by making sure I speak my black experience around them. If we friends, we're sharing the labor. The fuck, facts. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm. But see, it's all. I don't think that is about. Another way I can push back on that is too is I don't know. I don't think that that's about age though, because I didn't like that when I was younger, when I didn't have decades behind me. I just don't think I've had the luxury of being able to hide. That's one thing. So that may be the I didn't have the luxury of even when I was lying about being queer, it was like, okay. It wasn't and that, I'm thinking about 10 years old, 10, 11. But when I got older, I just didn't want to be uncomfortable. I hate being socially uncomfortable. Mm. Ah, Chris, yes. Mm. Agree. There is a let me see if I can find the book. There's a book by the psychologist about how there is a shift between young adolescence and adulthood that boys go through, that because of social roles, they they get more isolated. Oh, what is that book called? Let me see if I can find it. Mm-mm. I can't find it. I don't know what the book is called, but it's just about how boys, they get more isolated as they get older. And what she did was, it was a psychologist. She recorded interviews with boys in a certain age bracket, and what she was just listening to how they talked about their friendships, and then as they got older, like once they're like when they like 12, 13, 14, they're talking about it in one way. There's a community, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. And then when they get to like 17, 18, 19, it turns into a more I can't trust them niggas. Oh, he played me for a girl, or they always roasted me. It turns into and it's social and it's chemical when it comes to testosterone and social. It There's an isolation that happens, and there's a certain depth that they lose as they get older, unless their identity or they go into identities that can allow them to be more free. I think some people like us never had the luxury of being straight presenting. People know I was, yeah, same. I think I heard it as if I did. Uh-huh. Don't make me read Diamond Butterfly in the Sky. Yes, there's a lot of it's a God. I wish I had that book. It's a really good book though because it also explains a lot and she plays. There's a video of her, the author, talking about it, and she plays some of the interviews of the little boys and how they shift in their conversation, particularly, and they talk about homosexuality too, and it's really dope. It's really dope and insightful. Mm. But back to my brother, I told him, I said, just leave the door open. Maybe, this person is just now getting comfortable in their queerness, and so they are gravitating toward other queer men. And so that's just where they at on their journey. And so sometimes you just gotta accept that, baby boy. That's just what it is. You just gotta accept that. And he was like, "You're right." I feel like our conversation was productive because I felt like I explained it to him well enough for him not to feel jaded by the distance. And I explained like we live in a world where homophobia exists, regardless if you are accepting or not. And that homophobia can come with some fear. It can instill fear in people. It can instill shame. It can just make people not, you know, want to be close to cishet people, regardless of how they comfortable they are with queer people. And being that you said that he hasn't, he hasn't, because my brother said, my brother said that when he came in the room, they was voguing. When he walked into because they were supposed to practice their stepping. I ain't in no fraternity or sorority, nothing like that. But it was a homecoming thing, and so they were meeting at a gathering space to do their stepping, like the little steps that they be doing at the parties and da da da. So they were practicing that stuff. And so when he came in, before the other straight dudes came in, he said the gay line brothers, he walked in and they was suicide dip. Ow, ow. But once they came in, they weren't doing that no more. They had cut the music and they was back to their normal little thing. And so my brother said he had never he was like, these are situations that was confronting. Like he was like, it was always like in question, like maybe he is, maybe he not. But this situation, particularly in my brother's mind, was confirmation. Nigga, you in here with these super gay line brothers, and y'all voguing. Okay, bro, hey. And so when he come in, he see them doing it, they stopped. And he come in, he was like, hey, what's up? Da, 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 and kind of was being, my brother is like a life of the party type of person. And so he was like, yeah. And because I already felt like, oh, this nigga might be gay and I don't want him to be uncomfortable, he was like, I'm about to come in and just be normal. Like, yeah, I see y'all in here broken. Oh yeah, what's up? Da, da, da. And he was like, he was like just being his own self and dapping him up and hugging him and just trying to be as to him as normal as possible. But when he walked in, he said them niggas was voguing. So just and what he and I asked him, well, what do you want in the end? And he what he wanted, he was like, oh, I just want him to be cool. I don't want him to think that I'm some homophobe that's going to be negative to him. That's all I want. I don't want him to be that person. And so I said, well, just just leave the door open. Leave the door open and be cool. That's it. If you come to the events, be your normal self. Eventually, it'll just be regular. Don't worry about it. I think he just being free. Let him meet his gay line brothers and do their thing, and y'all do y'all thing. But yeah, he feels some kind of way about not knowing, about not talking about it. They are in their early 30s. This happened like when they're 30. They're all the same age, so they're like 30. I think they're like 30, 33, 34 now. That's what my brother said he wanted to do, but I told him not to do that. I was like, leave that alone. Because it ain't none I was playing the it ain't none of your business card. Let him say what he want to do. Let him come out at his own pace. Let him tell you, just leave it alone. That is what my brother wanted to do. He wanted to be like, nigga, I know you're gay. That was the prior to the voguing. My brother wasn't for sure. Like my brother was like, "Oh, y'all," like when the conversation will come up, my brother would be like, "Oh, I don't know. He might be gay. I don't know. I don't think so, but he might." Like it was not. He was like he was very clear that there was no negative conversation about oh boy behind the back, like behind his back. It wasn't any negative. It just was the question of is he gay? Nobody was like, "Ah, that nigga's a faggot." It was nothing like that. It was just, what is he gay? Like, is he keeping it from us? Like, he think we're not gonna be cool with him? Because all of his line brothers, the ones that I know, they cool as fuck. I like all of them. They cool. I don't feel uncomfortable around none of them. But like like James said, I am a little bit more comfortable. I got decades of experience. So, you know, it's a little different. But they don't ever from what I hear and what my brother says, they don't it's not any kind of negative conversations that he hears, but also my brother is, known to be kind of open and queer friendly. So they might and known for checking it. So not just known for being cool with queer people, but known for checking it. So there might not be any negative conversation that will come in my brother's face. You feel what I'm saying? And so he has a unique perspective because he ain't, he like, don't nobody say no negative shit at all. But then when he saw the Vogue and he was like, oh, now I'm for sure, my nigga. I know you gay. He was like seeing the super gay line brothers that he connected with that wasn't their line. Because how it works is every year, every school, every chapter has a line of boys that have come. And so their clique, usually in their particular chapter, they're a clique. Like say if it's three of them, it'll be three that cross the line. If it's six, six that cross the line. So they have a clique in their self. So he is in a clique of six. The gay boy is in a clique of six. My brother and five other ones, and the gay boy. So four other ones and the gay boy. Six a total. And so, but in this moment, they're hooking up with other chapters. And so in another city that none of them are from. And so when he comes into the space, he knows the gay boys of the other chapter, not the straight boys of the other chapter, the gay boys of the other chapter. Will the Line brothers be comfortable if he was trans attracted? I don't. I think that they would be comfortable. Honestly, so I've been friends. So most of my brother's friends, like I don't want to say we close, but definitely the ones that are like when he was younger, like his high school friends, they're like my little brothers. So they used to spend the night at our house. So they call me sister. If they're in say my brother is not in Houston and they come to Houston, they're coming to see me. They're coming to ram through my refrigerators. They're coming. They're coming. So they're almost like, of course, an extension of my brother, but they're like my little brothers too. So I'm going to their weddings, you know, and so his line brothers kind of is like that. Not exactly like not as close as that, but a little bit like that. If they see me somewhere, we talking, we hugging, we cool. They just always been cool. Like all five of them, they all been nice and sweet and cool. And all of them added me on Facebook. All of them, I'll see them commenting on if I post something on my Instagram, they'll comment, yeah, hey sis, or something. They all cool. I don't know. I just think they're cool. I think they're cool men, and they always been like that ever since they were in college. I think aesthetics come to play with that, Shonen. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. But yes. Do y'all think I don't know. I think that there is I would love to hear how lesbian. No, my brother isn't a Kappa. He is a Sigma. I think if we were ugly trans women, it would be different. Hmm. Ugly or non-passable? That's a good question. I didn't mean ugly. I meant like clocky or passing. Non versus passing. Hmm. I think both play a part. I think both plays a part in how people treat you, being ugly and being non-passable. I think they both play a part because you can be super passable but ugly, and men can treat you bad just because you're ugly. Because usually, people treat people that they're not attracted to a little bit worse than they treat. They're worse. That's just what it is. People who don't fit the beauty standard, and that could be your weight size, it could be your skin color, it could be your features, it could be your teeth, it could be whatever it is about you that doesn't fit beauty standard. And then if you clocky but pretty, I know some clocky people that are pretty that get treated well. Because there's a bunch of trans women that we celebrate in our culture that are ain't nobody looking at them and saying they're saying they're pretty, but ain't nobody not thinking that they're not trans. And there's a couple of girls that I think about right now that I'm like, she's pretty, but you definitely know that she's trans. Like it's not a question. And so they get popular because they're pretty, but not because they're passable. That's the truth. I think cis people. I don't always think cis people get the difference between that. I think if they close to trans people, yes, but um, ones that are not close to us, I don't think they get the nuance of that of being passable and being unattractive because there's a distinct difference. You can be beautiful and not passable. You can be ugly and passable as hell. You can be both beautiful and passable, or ugly and clocky, or unpassable. It's a combination, and everybody is at different levels of everything. Not a bad thing. It's just what it is. Exactly. You're right. It's just what it is. And some things you don't have no control over. It could be it could be based on the in whoever's because passability is based on the individuals. It's like when we say beauty is an eye of the beholder, passability is too. It's in the eye of the beholder. So there's some people who I talked about this before, but I think people in your race, it's easier for people in your race to clock you. I think it's harder for people outside of your race to clock you. Because I think there are Asian women who are passable, Asian trans people who are passable to us that are not passable to their own people. They'd be like, oh no, I can tell. Because I know what our women look like. And I think that's with a lot of other race ethnicities too. Um, I know a native born woman. Yeah, I do too. It really just depends on how they features fall in line with what we deem as yeah. Because I remember while I was in college, there was this girl. She was a cis girl, but before they knew who I was, and they were talking about the trans woman who was walking around, who was in in the in the they were like, "Ooh, it's a trans woman here." They thought it was her. And when I met her, I thought she was a trans woman. I went up to her like, hey girl, what's the tea? Thinking that this one of the girls, and honey, she was not. I gagged. Baby. Because you learn you don't want to get the girls clocked or nothing. So you gotta do it in a certain way that kind of like low and slick. And baby, she was looking at me like, what is this motherfucker doing? So what y'all think is gonna happen to Dwight? Um, I don't know, child. I don't know. There is a level of I feel like people is trying to get over. Yeah, it's hard for me. I need to go back and look at some more of the case. I only did a little because I don't really care. I'm just girl. Let people. If you out here wearing people out, yes, go to jail, my nigga. Get these cases. Get these. Get locked. Get these Chanel's on them wrists. Take your ass to prison. But I want people to stop making it a joke. Right. Mannerisms also come into play. There's plenty of gorgeous, passable trans women that act super queeny, and that makes them clocky to those who are familiar. Fact. You are totally right. I remember I used to we used to have this, me and my gay friend Mario, when we were younger, we used to have this friend named Nikki. She was a cis girl. She didn't look like a trans girl. She was a cis girl, but she was so faggy. She was so faggy that the people would, dudes would ask her what she trans. She don't look trans, she don't sound trans, she don't do, but because she was hanging around the gays so much, using our lingo, honey, it was funny. Like it was like you really is embracing it. And the trade used to be like, "Oh, I think that's a man, dog." Look at how she talked. I think that's a man, dog. And we would cackle because she was so faggy. God, she was so faggy. Nikki was cool, and she could sing. That bitch could blow like her. Woo, her vote. Ooh, her vote. Woo. That voice, baby, them vocals. Oh, she was so dope. But she was a there was a butch queen inside of her throat, baby. And she couldn't cut it off. She would do it at church. She would do it everywhere. She was a queen, and like it was. You know how sometimes cis girls use the language, but it's not done right. It ain't. It's they use it, but it ain't done right. It ain't done like we do it in our culture, and so. But she did it right. Like you would think that she was you would think that she was in community because she wasn't a dyke. She just was she was just real close to nothing but queens, nothing but them. And so it just was a natural, and it wasn't putting on. She just did it. Like I don't remember a time when she didn't talk like this because she's always been besties with a queen from since she was in elementary. And so she always knew to use language. She's always done it. It's never it's all the time. It's not like, oh, we just on the phone and you doing it. She did it at church. She did it at school. She did it on the phone. She did it alone. That's just her. Nikki was a queen, baby. But we loved her. But the tray would clock and be like, I think that's the man. So the mannerisms do get you clocked. Yeah. Usually, if I'm getting clocked, it's usually if I'm just sitting and chilling, I'm usually not getting clocked. But if I'm usually it's my voice. Usually it's my voice that gets me clocked. Usually, not all the time. If I'm trying, no. But if I'm not paying attention and I'm just kind of just being free, I can tell in a person's face, oh, they're clocking me in this moment, and it's usually my voice. But if I'm just kind of just chilling and just kind of doing my thing, people don't really be bothering me. We had a my uncle Cleve, his wife, he remarried this woman and she can't have no kids. So the family rumor is that she really trans. And she got like a thick ass mustache. It looked like I don't think she trans, but you can't put it past. But the rumor in the running joke is that she's trans. Well, I have a cis girlfriend that says that people think she a man all the time because of her voice. What's saying? I haven't heard that in forever. What's saying? Mm, I went until she. It went until she got pregnant that they knew for sure that she was trans. Oh, that is a good segue into something. So there was back in '67, there was this girl who was running for the Olympics, and they took a test for her testosterone, and they disqualified her because they said that she wasn't female enough to run. And this is back in '67. They made her get a test. Wait, they made her either a 66 and she had to get 66 and they disqualify her from the Olympics. I don't know if she's a German woman, but she might be a German woman. She might be. And then I can't pronounce her name. And then she got pregnant in like '67 or '68, got pregnant, and then went back to the Olympics because they like, oh well, you got a baby, so how can we say you're not female enough? It was hilarious because as far as her chemical makeup, she was a man, basically, by their standard. But honey, she still had that uterus baby, and she got pregnant and had a baby, and then went back to the Olympics. So they made her not a girl, then disqualify her, and then made her a girl again. It's always funny how y'all rules don't match. She either ran in the Olympics. I can't remember exactly, but all I know is that she had got pregnant after they said she wasn't a female. That was hilarious. Kim Zolciak. Mm, that's because that Barbie hair she used to wear. I used to think Jane Crouch was trans when I was younger, like young, young. I thought Jane Crouch was a drag queen because of that big pink hair and them lashes. I thought she was a drag queen because she, girl. I still think she a drag queen. She just a cisgender woman that's a drag queen. Well, she's gonna pass now. But Jan Crouch, she was one that was wild. A woman who can't get pregnant must be trans. Yes, that was funny for me. But that's something that my family they whisper about. It's hilarious. I remember when my great grandmother had passed away, and she came to the funeral because my great grandmother, it's her brother that she's married to, and she came to the funeral, and which is the first time that I got to see her, and I was looking at her like, oh, I see why they giving you the business, because I don't think she's not trans. I don't think she's trans, but I think that she just has strong features and a mustache, like, and not like a big long mustache, but like when girls have the little, it'd be dark right here, and then the little whiskers come right here. It don't be thick, thick, but it be. Mm, you might need some laser, baby girl. It'd be. It definitely was. It was thicker than peach fuzz, but not like a man mustache. But it was thicker than peach fuzz, where you like, but she had the little black part right here. Where I was like, ooh, Mm. She might have POC. Nah, I don't think she had POC because it wasn't heavy enough to be POC to me. She might, but I don't think she did. But she could. She might, but I don't think she did. I just think that she just had a little, little hair, and I just think she had things that made you think that she could be because she was over average height. She was kind of tall. Um, she was kind of tall. You know, not really thick down at the bottom. It was kind of very ambiguously up and down. She had a nice voice. Her voice wasn't masculine at all. She had a feminine voice. Um, it was just the height and the mustache that kind of made it. I didn't out them. That's what they do. They were waiting for me to meet her. That's what was funny. They were waiting for me to see if I, because it had been talked about for so long before I met her by the women in my family. They wanted me to meet her, like to see if I knew her. Like I was gonna be like, "Ooh, yeah, that's a trans woman." I never thought Kiki Moore was trans, but she always had the spirit of a trans woman to me. Mhm. Mm, yeah, Kenya gave Kenya gives me Kenya and Nene gives me a cis woman that hangs around gay boys. That's what I'm talking about. Where I can tell you not one of us because of how you use the lingo. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like you're trying. But that was a difference between my friend Nikki. Nikki sounds like she was a queen. Nikki sounds like she grew up in it, which she did. Nene and Kenya, it just feels like it's picked up. And they cut it on when they trying to serve. They cut it on when they trying to read. You get what I'm saying? They cut it on in certain moments. Whereas my friend Nikki is always on. Yeah, like it's rehearsed in the mirror. I love Sour Patch Kids. I love candy. Sour Patch Candy. Which Nene says she does. Yeah. Another thing that I want to talk about before I go in this last little 20 minutes. It Celebrities that get exposed so many times, like Dwight Howard, it makes me feel like you are intentionally, not intentionally trying to get exposed, but you really don't care. Because there ain't no way you getting exposed over and over and over again. You're not being careful. All these people, it feels like motherfuckers is trying to set you up. Like they trying to get a coin. It feels like you yeah, I just don't I feel like it's gotten to the point that too many people have exposed you for you to be so reckless, careless. and it's given, and this might be a class thing, like a money thing. It's giving Ed Buck, but in blackface. It's giving kind of like you keep doing all this shit because you keep getting away with shit. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like it's giving Ed Buck, but a black basketball player. DJ Mr. C. No, I feel like Mr. C took his ass and sat down. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like I feel like once he got caught, he took his ass and sat down. Like that. There's something about him that you didn't. He got caught once and it was done. But Dwight, it's like how many times have somebody exposed Dwight? Ain't this like number 3 or number 4? You can't be that careless. Oh, and I'm down. And y'all can't tell because I'm sitting down and I got these big old pants up. But I'm down like 40 pounds. Uh, my this is my scar right here. But my stomach is down, my waist is down. I can't tell, but yes, I'm getting back slim, y'all. Y'all gonna see it. I done lost after surgery I'm at, I don't know, let me calculate. I'm definitely under 300. I was in 300. I was way over 300. I'm down 40 pounds. So hopefully by my birthday I'll be at whatever weight I'm going to be down to. Hopefully by February I will be I will be to my goal weight. My goal weight is one not one one nothing. I don't want to be one nothing. I want to be at 230. And so I'm at 295. I started at 235. I mean 335. And so I'm at 295. So I want to get down to 230. So that'll be 100 down, 100 something. And usually the average weight you lose, everybody say is like 100. So hopefully that's exactly where I want to be. So I'll be at, because I still want to be thick. I just don't want to be as thick as I was. That's why I got the surgery. So I want to get down to 230, 220. That was my ideal weight when I was younger. So I'm good. So hopefully, and it's going slower than the people, my friends who got the surgery. It's going slower for me than it was for them. They like in 2 months they were down like 60 pounds. I was like, ooh. But my doctor said it's cool because the slower my weight loss, the the slower my weight loss, the more my body has time to like stay not loose, not have the loose skin. So I'm like, oh yes, go slow, because I don't want to. Because as y'all can see, it's not really sagging or nothing. It's just it's cool right now, but we'll see. um, yeah, that's what she said. The slower it is, if I slower, the tighter my skin has a chance to stay tight. So that's the goal. I noticed the arms when I first came in. Yes. Um, yeah, my arms haven't. Yeah, It's not. Nothing is. It's. I can tell I'm losing it, but it's not feeling real. It's feeling. I don't know. It's feeling normal. So I'm feeling good. Just know that. Um, how much were you when you were on Black Planet? Oh, when I was on Black Planet, I was too small. I didn't feel. I didn't feel feminine at all. I was too small. I was like 140, 145, 150. I was too skinny when I was on Black Planet. I was way skinny. When I came to Houston, I was a little bit thicker. I was like 170, but my weight that I was the best for me, that I felt the most feminine, was 220, 230. That was when I was like 30, 34, 35. Whatever my that was in, what was that? About not 34, 35, like 33. So 2015, what was that? 33. Yeah, 2013, 14. That was when I liked my body. That's when I was like, ooh, I like this way. Cheesecake, baby. Cheesecake. Um, have you adjusted to the smaller stomach and only being able to eat small portions? I don't know if it's adjusting. I guess it's a learning process, but I guess I'm adjusting. I guess I am. I haven't thrown up in a while. Not I'm saying a long time. It's only been, I got it August 2nd. So this is August, September, October, November. This is month three. Um, yeah, yeah, there was this moment in early October where I was at the airport and I had drunk some, I had ate something and I had to throw up to get up out. Um, but yeah, yeah, I guess I could say I'm adjusting. Yeah, the worst month was the second month. Yeah, that mid September, beginning of October, that was when it was like, ooh, I gotta learn what's going on. What else? I can't eat fish. I can, but it's something about the texture of fish in my stomach that kind of feels weird. So something about fish that doesn't work well with me now. And I loved fish, so now it's kind of chicken, beef, all the proteins. But chi- yeah, chicken, beef. The fish be kind of wearing me out. Like if I try to eat some fried fish or baked fish, I gotta. The whole thing is you gotta eat obnoxiously slow. You can't just be like "Do, do, 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 do," done. You gotta be like, oh yeah, you can eat it, but it's just something about it that you just gotta. Yeah, mm-mm. But you're skinny. Well, I don't know how you are now, but you used to be super skinny. You used to be skinny, skinny, skinny. Anorexic skinny. Raven. You used to be titties and you used to be skinny. Hmm. But were you in Florida? You was in Florida at that time, wasn't you? I think you were in Florida. Yeah, 160 is small. That's small. Back then, I was like, yeah, you were slims back then. You were slims, yeah. I would. Do you know how I would look? I feel. I don't know. When I'm under 100, I did not feel fish. I felt too skinny. I wanted to be body yaddy yaddy. I never wanted to be that small. Mm-mm. Yeah, that when I was under 100, like when I was like at 160 and like back in my BP days, people thought it was cute. I didn't. I felt too skinny. But I come from a southern family. We need shapes, honey. We need thighs and booty and stuff. That modelistic tee was not what I wanted. Oh, let me show y'all my profile. What is it? Well, I'll just show y'all this one. Y'all see this? Isn't that super cute? I got two. I bought two of these from this. He hand makes these, and I got one for this finger and this finger. I don't know where the other one. The other one is amethyst. So this is rose quartz. So I love rose quartz. Rose quartz is my favorite crystals. And amethyst, and I forgot the name of this one, but the ones that look like clear and black. I love these kind. I love these. They're so pretty. The one that has like little black granites in it. So amethyst, rose quartz, and this kind. I can't remember the name of this one. Um, they're my favorite, and so I got rose quartz in this one, as you can see, rose quartz, and then I got one that has the amethyst. Oh, here you go, which is my birthstone. Super, super cute. I love these. They're so cute. And so I want to get one more with that kind of stone. And this dude, his name is Art Boy Creates on Instagram. He makes them. He lives in Europe, and they're super cheap. They're like $30. They're cheap, but he makes them and ships them to you. And he adjusts the Art Boy Creates. Yes, Art Boy Creates, and they're so cute. And he's cute. But he's from Europe, and they ship in about 2 weeks. But I like them. I'm gonna try to get them to make me some bigger ones because I want two more, but bigger for the middle finger for here. Maybe like two stones together. But I love them. They're so dope. He does a good job. And I found my pride ring. But I got he is cute. He is fine. His lips are sexy. He's sexy as fuck. But yeah, if y'all want to buy something from him, he is good at what he does. So you can see. Let me put it up close so you can see how he make them, and you can get them in your particular size. It won't zoom in. He is cute. I want him. He looks like my ex. Yes. Mm. Well, all right, y'all. We have been here till 3 hours now. It is 1:30, so I'm about to get off of here and do some editing. Yes, 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 yes. If you're watching towards the end, make sure y'all thumbs up if you have not. I will be back. I think I'm gonna switch to Thursdays because Fridays is getting kind of busy in my life right now. So I think I'm gonna switch to Thursday at 7. And we'll chat then, and I will see y'all. All right, bye bye.